All right, it says this Hangout is on the air. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the first edition of the Bob Miller Gratitude Success Show that I am hosting personally. Thank you for this opportunity, Jackson. And let me welcome everyone who's here right now. I see Nicole and Roseanne and J-Man and Christy just popped in. Hello, Christy and Chris and Lisa and anyone else who's popping in. Welcome. I think you know that we have an incredibly special guest with us today, and I don't know how much of an introduction I can or should do because I think everybody knows who she is. We have Susan Shearer Young with us. Susan is the author of the book How to Allow, which was voted the best LOA book of 2012, and I think you already know that. Susan has also been a frequent guest. She's been a guest on the Bob Miller Success Show when Bob Miller was personally here to help us out with the show. I've tried my best to get Bob to come on over today and pop in, and maybe some of you angels out there will let me know if he does. But nevertheless, Susan is here with us, and welcome, Susan. Let me just say, welcome, Susan, and get her on out here because I know you'd rather listen to Susan than listen to me. Yeah, Bob's late, Jackson. I don't know what to do about it. It's been a persistent problem in the last few days.
Yeah. Am I on?
You're on. You're on.
Hello, everybody. And yeah, Bob, I have a bone to pick with you. You are late, and I keep thinking of things that I want to tell you, such as when I get a good parking space, which we always text each other to say, I just got the perfect parking space. And it was an old joke when Bob first read my book, and one of the things it mentioned is that once you raise your vibration, so many things can start to line up for you. You'll just get like the perfect parking space. You'll get this and that. And I think Bob and Len talked about this, and as Bob related it to me, it was like, what? You can't use this to get parking spaces. So they're out doing their stuff and they're getting perfect parking spaces. And so a lot of times when I'm out doing errands and I get the perfect parking space and somebody lets me, I was just out a couple days ago and several cars slowed down to let me make a turn when there was heavy traffic and let me go into the lane. I mean, it was just all these people being nice. And I was like, oh, I got to tell Bob this. This will just add to the whole, allure of the parking space story. And then I started crying. So I've told Len that I was happy to do this show. I'm really honored to be the first guest on the new version of Bob's show, but that I was a little tentative about being ready to be able to do it without blubbering. So that's my dog. He'll stop. I wasn't sure if I could, and that still could happen. I cry very easily. And I have to say, when I got the news about Bob, I was actually in New York City for my youngest son's college graduation from NYU. And I had been tied up all day at graduation events and then out having dinner with my kids. And I got back and it was like, what? No. It was such disbelief, and I could see all the strings of chats and people expressing their sorrow, and it was like, I don't know if that made it worse in some way. Like I felt like I had been out of it and something had happened, and it gave me more of that feeling of this didn't really happen, and I was out of my element. And I'm in a much better place on all of that now, and I'm able to think about how much Bob would be enjoying, how much he is enjoying watching this right now. And I know he's with us, and I have a lot to say about what Bob's done and how I think it fits in with the art of allowing. I also, if anyone has anything else they'd like to add, that I just really wanted to allude to my personal sentiments about Bob before we got started.
Yeah, I think we all share that sentiment. And as I've told you, Susan, this morning, I don't believe that there is in the chat. I'm looking at the people that are here. I don't think there's anybody there that has had consistent dry eyes for the last 10 days. I mean, everyone has cried, and it was a very emotional experience for all of us. It was a total shock. Of course, we didn't see it coming. And so, if you do cry, it's really okay. You're amongst friends. You can just feel all the arms coming out and holding on to you. But
thank you.
But let me just turn you loose. You have some things you want to talk about, and let me just turn you loose.
Okay.
And one of the things that I suggested is, Bob was very big into the law of attraction. He loved your book. He's got a copy of your book somewhere that has more marks in it than you could count to. And let's just talk a little bit today about the role gratitude plays in the law of attraction. And it's your floor. Take it away.
Okay. It was interesting when you suggested that as a topic. I just thought, perfect topic. Actually, I wasn't sure what I was going to be able to say about Bob and the connection and, what I'm grateful for right now. And I thought, but gratitude really is everything when it comes to the art of allowing. And it's going to be nice to really be able to express that and to also make this be also a tribute to Bob. And I wrote down more notes than I usually do just because I was concerned that I might lose it and not remember what I was going to say. So if I look down, I'm just there were some things I really wanted to make sure that I got out there today. First of all, Bob is going to be missed incredibly in this physical reality, but I know he's with us, and I owe him a huge debt of gratitude. And he was all about gratitude. We called him the gratitude guru sometimes. And he was one of the first people who just in a very big way grabbed my book and got it on YouTube. I had never met Bob before. All of a sudden, I'm like, what's going on here? He loved my book so much, and he was so great about expressing his appreciation and gratitude for it and sharing it with other people. And it created just such a great feeling for me, and of being appreciated. And that was the beginning of a very good friendship, very, very good friendship. And he even told me in a private conversation that reading my book was a catalyst for him in his decision to go forward with this big gratitude project and expressing gratitude for the people he appreciated every day. So I couldn't be more grateful for him in doing that. I can't tell you how much that means to me, because I think what Bob was doing by expressing this gratitude every day was reaching the people that he named in his posts, but it goes a lot farther than that. And it's sort of like when you go out and you're riding the subway or something, and you there's someone you express some kindness to a stranger, and you have no idea what's going on in that person's life, what kind of day they might be having. And all of a sudden it uplifts them. Something, your little exchange with them has made them feel better. And then they go out and then they let someone in front of them in traffic, and then they go home and they're kinder to their spouse or their kids. I mean, the ripple effect of what our single action does is so huge. And I feel that Bob started something so powerful with this expressing gratitude that the ripple effect of Bob's actions are going to continue out into the universe forever. And Bob is watching all of this, and I'm sure has a big smile on his face. It doesn't end here at all, but those thoughts that have been put out there are huge and are creating powerful momentum for a lot of people and affecting a lot of people. And I'm incredibly grateful to Bob for that and for the help that he's given me. And anytime I said thank you to Bob, he naturally said to me, "Susan, are you kidding me? Do you know how much you've done for me?" And that's the kind of guy that Bob is. So what I would like to talk about, how it relates to the art of allowing, and try to impart a little wisdom here that, it hit me when Lynn suggested this. I hadn't actually framed it this way before, but it is really probably the essential foundation for allowing things that you want into your life. And Bob and I actually talked about this, so I know he wouldn't mind that I talked about this little discussion we had about gratitude versus appreciation. And some people say, it's been suggested that the vibration of gratitude and appreciation are slightly different, that maybe the gratitude, the vibration of appreciation is slightly more powerful than the vibration of gratitude. And I know I've said it in this forum and elsewhere that it's not the words you use, it's the feeling that is generated with whatever words you're using. So it doesn't matter if you call it appreciation or gratitude. But I think at times when people think of gratitude, it can be tied up with having overcome something, having overcome some adversity, and they're grateful to be done with it, that I'm grateful I made it through this health scare, or I'm grateful that this person showed up because I was in a bad place. And versus when you say, I appreciate someone or something, often it has this just pure vibration of it's love. It's just, this thing is valuable. This person is valuable. I appreciate them. And it's equal to the vibration of pure love, which is the highest vibration that you can have. So I think it doesn't matter. I think what Bob was doing was, whatever word you want to use, he was in that pure field of appreciation where he was finding the silver lining that's always there for us if we look for it, even in the trials that we've been through. And he was really appreciating the people in his life. And it wasn't an accident for me. When I wrote How to Allow, I definitely got this divine inspiration. Well, in writing the whole book, of course, I felt it coming through me. But the final, I think it's the final chapter, is entering the field of appreciation. And I got the words field of appreciation, and it was suggested that is what we're all aspiring to. Using what I like to call is using our superpowers. And I'll talk more about that because I'm obsessed with the idea of using our superpowers right now. So I think that what Bob was doing is so powerful because he was helping everyone to get into that field of appreciation, which is where we all want to be. And we can't be there all the time, or we wouldn't be here. There has to be some contrast for us to keep expanding and keep growing, but being in that field of appreciation is what we want to aspire to. And there's another way that gratitude is really huge in this allowing business. Thank you. Yeah, I didn't know Buckley was going to make such an appearance. One of the big points that I make in my book, and I'm also making it now in this course I'm writing, is that you can't really get your momentum going forward and start to turn your life around or become unstuck until you make peace with where you are right now. And making peace with where you are right now involves appreciating perhaps the fact that you've been strong, you've been brave, look what you've done, here you are, and also seeing that all of the things that you've experienced have brought you to this place where now you're totally poised to begin creating what you want. Now you know what you know how the law of attraction works. And all of these, maybe some of the things that weren't great, some of the contrast you experienced, it's made you who you are right now. And you wouldn't be in this place where you were if you hadn't gone through all those experiences. So in my mind, and I know this is true, you can't begin to create the momentum that's going to take you forward when you're beating yourself up for where you are right now and sort of bemoaning the fact that you've arrived here and blaming yourself or blaming other people. Talking about, I think, having a loop in your head. Well, if only I hadn't done this, if I hadn't done that, or if that person hadn't done this to me, if I hadn't gotten sick, if I hadn't invested that money that way, whatever. If you're still beating yourself up for that, it's really hard to create that positive vibration that's going to take you forward. And I think gratitude in that case, or appreciation, whatever we want to call it, is essential for making peace with where you are. I hope that's resonating with everyone.
Well, it certainly resonates with me. I think that's right. If we're stuck on where we are, rather than appreciating where we are, but stuck on, well, how did I get here? Or I did this wrong or something like that, then we're really attracting more. I mean, that's negative. We're attracting more negative into our life. I
Yes.
think to me, and I think you agree with this, and I'm perhaps saying a slightly different way. And you're going to turn off the background images?
No, I just turned the computer so Buckley wasn't full on view. Or can you still see me?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
To me, appreciating everything that has happened to us, or being grateful for where we are and what we have in our life now, is foundational. Without that, it's impossible to move forward.
Yes.
And I think that was one of the key and important messages that Bob was giving to us, and he took it to a whole new level for many of us. But nevertheless, it was a foundational message.
Yes, and I talked a lot in my book about that, and I've talked about it with clients, and that's so often the thing that is keeping people stuck, is they are still, there is a loop going around in their head. They're telling a story about themselves and about how they got to where they are, and woven within that story, whether it's just in your own head or whether it's what you're telling your friend or your therapist or your coach or whoever. Within the words of that story is what you really think about yourself, whether you think those things, the contrast that you've been through, has weakened you or empowered you. I mean, if you're saying I came from a really dysfunctional family and therefore I have trouble with relationships, you're imposing a limit on yourself, and you have a murky vibration when it comes to relationships. Instead of saying, yeah, I came from a dysfunctional family and look at me, here I am, and I'm able to be a loving parent or spouse or whatever. There's a way to take those things that have occurred for us, and all of us, no matter how successful we've been in whatever aspects of our life, whether we've been successful in some aspects or others, we've all had contrast, and it's how we use the contrast and what story we're telling about ourselves. And that's where I think this whole story and how we are taking it and using it, and whether we have appreciation for where we've arrived, and then the second part of that is appreciating the actual situation where we are right now, even though perhaps if you presented it to the outside world, it wouldn't look like you're on top of the mountain. There are plenty of positive aspects in the situation that you can use as a springboard for creating momentum to move forward. So I just find that the whole focus of Bob's work is actually the foundation of everything that I'm talking about, and everything that needs to happen for us in creating the momentum we want to move forward. And one thing I wanted to see where I made some, the one point I really wanted to make sure I didn't overlook is that I thought one thing that was unique about Bob's take on things was his idea to appreciate the people in our lives that we're grateful for. And I thought that was unique and something I hadn't heard about before. I had been hearing about gratitude lists and, think of 10 things you're grateful for before you go to bed and all of that. But I think that unique take of finding the people in our lives that we're grateful for was very powerful, and it caused him to connect with so many people that he would not otherwise have connected with. And then all of a sudden, you see your name and you see that someone's appreciating you, and it changes your whole day. And then you go out and appreciate other people. So I wanted to make sure I mentioned, I thought that was a neat thing about Bob's work. And it's very clear to me this work does not end here. I mean, the fact that we're sitting here doing this right now is testimony to the power of what Bob has done and continues to do. And I'm sure he is going to have a hand in the lives of all of us and helping us to get more insights and move forward. And really getting to the point, I think, where all of the people in this group, we all pretty much get how this works, right? I mean, everybody that I'm seeing up there, and I can't read it really clearly because I have to be a little bit back from the computer, or else it looks like I'm looking at the floor. We get how this works, and we're ready to move into the next phase, which is actually using our superpowers, not just operating from a place of not fully owning our own power. And I'm actually writing an online course right now And I realized when you asked me to talk about the role of gratitude in the art of allowing, that's a huge part of my, why I'm obsessed with using this phrase, using our superpowers, because I realized that going through this process of being grateful or showing appreciation for where we are right now, the people who have brought us here, finding that silver lining is the springboard to moving forward. And when we do that, we line up with infinite intelligence or source energy. I personally think we also have guides and people in the unseen that are helping us, and we can choose people that we love that have passed over to the other side, like Bob, to help us by communicating with them. And if we can get on their vibrational level and we're not blubbering as I've been a little bit, but I know I'm going to be able to chat with Bob and be on his wavelength. I know he's going to send me some signs, and I'll have that connection, and it will help me to use my superpowers even more so than I am now. So when I refer to the phrase using your superpowers, it's like being full on using all that you've got at your disposal, rather than that limited part of ourselves that comes from a place of lack and not really believing and expecting that we can have whatever we want. And Bob, I think, has laid a perfect foundation for us. Perfect foundation. And it is, the art of allowing is all about gratitude and appreciation. And I'm glad you suggested this, Lynn, because I think it's caused me to realize even more so how that thread really runs through everything. So I hope this resonates with everyone. That is my take on the importance of gratitude in the art of allowing. And we know the art of allowing is what it's all about. It's if we're not allowing, nothing's changing. We remain stuck. And how we get to the allowing part involves quite a bit of gratitude and appreciation. So I'm really grateful for Bob. I know he's still around. I know we're going to be chatting, and I know he's going to be helping all of us from his more aerial perspective that he has, which he already had a pretty aerial perspective. So I'm excited to see what is going to come from him once I get my vibration aligned with where he is and don't feel sad anymore, which is, it's getting easier every day. So if anybody else has any comments or questions, I love this topic as the first gratitude show for Bob, because it really does, I believe it ties in with everything, and it's so apparent to me. And I think we all owe Bob a huge debt of gratitude. So thank you, Bob. I know you're with us.
Are any of the angels that are in the chat feeling Bob today, feeling the presence? Anybody have anything they'd like to say?
Yeah, please do.
Now, I'll leave that there for just a moment. So when you talk about, and I'm going to come back to that, when you talk about the superpowers, I just finished spending a huge amount of time studying Wayne Dyer's The Power of Intention, and I actually did 3 webinars on it on Saturdays, and a lot of that is, I think it's the same thing. It's getting in touch with our higher self, really connecting to source, and part of that is really being appreciative of where you are right now and what you have, so that you can move forward with other things. But is that what our superpowers are? The word superpowers isn't quite, I haven't quite heard it called that before.
Well, that's my new phrase, and my course that I'm writing is called I think you have to think of the whole name of it. I've got it down here, but it's a course in using your superpowers, and that's the basic catchphrase for it. And it definitely, it involves lining up with gratitude and appreciation as the foundation. And a big part of it, I am almost done writing it, but a big part of it is figuring out what story we're telling about ourselves. And that, I was talking about how what we extract from the story we're telling about ourselves is a huge part of what we may think we're using our affirmations or thinking positive thoughts or whatever we may be doing. But if we really examine the story we're telling about ourselves, and I ask people in this course to write down the story they're telling about themselves and to just go with it, that story actually has all the kernels of truth about what we're really putting out into the universe, what we really think about our experiences and ourselves, about whether they were helpful, whether we've overcome certain situations and have come out of it as a more powerful person. And that's what I'm encouraging people to do through the course as we keep sort of peeling away the layers of the onion to see what are we really thinking, even though on the surface we think we're putting a certain energy out there. I think by just going deep on that and looking at the story we're telling, we find out how we're really vibrating. And it's very revealing, very revealing. And the superpowers aspect is using our full power that, when infinite intelligence is flowing through us. I mean, I don't know about any of you guys, if you have this experience when you're meditating or when you just get connected with something, because what started to happen for me, and I hope everyone doesn't think I'm a little crazy, but I get like twitches and electrical impulses go through. I'm kind of like Tourette's syndrome. It almost looks like, I'm just moving when I'm meditating or when I get these powerful ideas come in, and my thought is, should I keep meditating because this is so good, or should I jump up and write these ideas down? And I'm not sure what I should do because I don't want to interrupt it, but that's part of using your superpowers. You connect with that. Yeah, we're all a little crazy, Jackson. I can read a little bit of the thread here, not easily. But when you connect with that infinite intelligence, you can actually feel that energy flowing through you. And one thing I really want to get into in my course is the whole idea of connecting with our guides and allowing them to help us, opening things up, and not figuring we have to do it all alone.
Did you say God?
Guides.
Okay, I'm not sure I heard the word. Okay,
I feel very much that we have helpers that are there in the unseen that are guiding us, and that part of using our superpowers is allowing ourselves to be guided and sort of turning some things over and not trying to fight everything so much, going with that flow. So I hope this will all come out in my course, but I hope some of this is, food for thought for everyone.
It's awesome. I love it. I've been trying to read. I want to stop just for a second and read Terry's comment. It's too long for me to read while it's going past us in the chat. Bob has been showing me signs every day, and there it is. It jumped out of the chat window again. And he wants us all to know, come on, chat. Wish I could make the chat so he wants us all to know that what we are doing when we show gratitude is giving love to each other. Terry, I wish you'd just come on and say this. Okay, love to each other. His message is all about love, and he says that is all we take with us when we leave these human bodies behind. In showing our gratitude, we are showing love. It's all we take with us when we leave these human bodies behind. Wow.
Nice.
Powerful. Powerful.
Nice. It's been hard. I haven't been able to really read those and also speak at the same time. I mean, it's like walking and chewing gum, I guess, but it had to maintain my concentration, and I'm a little bit distanced from the computer. So if anyone has anything they'd like to shout out, please feel free.
Yeah, and I actually have a little trouble too, because I'm trying to listen to you and read the chat at the same time. So that means that I'm not as fully. What I usually do is I will go back and watch the replay.
Yes.
There is no chat, so that I can focus totally on what you're saying, because you have so much to offer, and I know we're past the top of the hour. I'm sensitive to the time, and I think you have to go. Do you have to go, or do you have another couple minutes, or how? I can
take a couple more minutes. I do have to move on to something, but I have a couple minutes if there's anything.
So let's begin to wrap up. So first off, when's your course coming out, Susan?
Good question. I'm getting very close to finishing it. And the next step is turning it into the online version rather than just the written version that I have. But it's moving really quickly. I've actually gotten a request for this from people that are really, the book's really resonating and they want to start using it in some spiritual centers. Perhaps, well, what they've said they'd like to do is use it around the country at all their spiritual centers. And Susan, do you have a curriculum? I'm like, I'm getting that curriculum. Yes. So I was already writing that, and now it's just, I'm trying to get it done at warp speed. I've just had a lot of other things going on with clients and child's graduation, all that kind of stuff. And, but it's really getting close to the end and it's flowing. It's just, I sit down and just write it and it's like, I don't even have to think. So I know it's divinely inspired. I'm really, really excited about this course. It's going to be out as soon as I can get it out there.
Yeah. It's an interesting comment because Wayne Dyer used to say that he's written over 40 books, and he will say that he never wrote a book. He has nothing, he didn't write anything. Yeah. He went into his sacred white writing space, he laid his hand on, and the information flowed through him. It was divinely inspired. You just said the same thing. Yeah, it's not, I mean, I'm not like a Esther Hicks or other channelers where I'm just sitting there and taking dictation. It's more that I sit down and I just completely, it's just easy. It's like, oh, obviously I would say this, and then this follows from this, and then this is the next, or I get the idea in meditation or whatever at the end of the meditation. And it's really fun, and it's almost effortless and incredibly fun. So I'm so excited about the course because I feel like it's going to reach a lot more people that really want something a little more hands-on, or someone taking them by the hand and saying, you know, you need to be accountable here and do these exercises. And if you do this, you're going to move on to this next step. You will have started to create this momentum. And I think a lot of people that contact me about coaching or with questions about my book or my blog posts, I feel like there is a need for that. So people want it and are looking for it. And I feel like that's part of my mission here right now. Awesome. Well, you know what? I can't wait. Sign me up. I want to take your course.
Great.
I love the book. I'm going to remind everybody that the book is How to Allow, and I assume we want us to keep publishing that, of course, or publicizing it. The book is How to Allow. If you don't have a copy, get it. Do yourself a favor. Just get it. And if you do have a copy and you haven't picked it up in 6 months, pick it up and read it again, because every time I read it, I learn some new things. It's an awesome book.
Thank you.
I did make a mistake today, and that is that I started the show with my hands up, but I didn't say start the show the way I actually intended to. I was so excited to have Susan here that I forgot to mention who I'm grateful for today, but I'm certainly grateful for Susan for being here. And I think I did mention Jackson for giving me the opportunity to host this show, and et cetera. So I'm going to let Susan go. She's got courses to create, books to write, bridges to cross, and mountains to climb, and things to do. And she's also got a music video that she was in with one of her clients that's about to come out real soon. She's going to let me know when that's out. That's coming possibly this week.
Yes.
And so, and then the only thing I'm going to say, Susan, is I promise to leave you alone until your course is out. But as soon as your course is out, you got to come back and tell us about your course.
Okay. I'm excited about that. I want to get this course done like tomorrow, but I realize I've got a little more time to invest, and then I'm very happy to come back.
And let me just ask you one more question. If anyone wants to get a hold of you for any reason, what's the best way to do that?
They can contact me at susan@howtoallow.net. And actually, I'm very proud of this. So you don't mind if I throw this out there. I'd love for everyone to look at my website now, because it's just really revamped it and made it more user-friendly and made it easier for people to find out about my coaching and get copies of the book either online or through Amazon. So it's just, I wanted to have it really ready for the launch of this video and all this. I'll have to explain to this group the whole video thing in the next chapter. I'm not in the video dancing or anything. My book is in the video, and there will be an extras video where you'll probably see me, and it probably will be hilarious. But my website is www.howtoallow.net. And if you guys want to check it out, I have this whole new section that describes what my some dancing, what my coaching platform is and how that works. And then there's a lot of information about the book. I have tons of testimonials now, and it was a lot of work, but it was also fun. So I hope everyone will check out my site, my upgraded site.
Okay, and I will publish the website. The replay of this show will be available very soon. I will put it up. And Susan, can I give you a big hug? I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being on the show. Bob, thank you. You guy, I know he's here. I know he's watching, and I know he approves, and I know he loves you. He truly loves you.
I do too, and I love him, and I can't wait to have more contact with him. And thanks everybody for making this happen. I'm really honored to be on the show today, and as a tribute to Bob.
All right, unless anybody else has anything to say, I'm just going to go ahead and shut it down so this lady can get on with creating her course.
Okay, I'm motivated. I got to get on it. Okay, bye everybody. Really nice to interact with everyone today.
We want to take it. So love you, Susan. Thank you so much for coming.
Love you too, Len.
Bye for now.